Ancestors protect me. May they protect you.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
I'm a ready teddy.
Well, get bent, turkey.
Enough.
Hey, I'm a child of divorce. Give me a break.
Potatoes.
But you know what's on my mind right now? It ain't the coffee in my kitchen.
Forget about it.
They're called harpulary batteries.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
Hey, I'm a nice guy.
That is a very deep cut.
All right, and welcome back to the third episode of the Deep Cut Movie Review Podcast. I am your host, Dylan, joined today by my good friend and co-host,
Armand.
Armand. You want to tell the listeners what we're talking about today?
Y'all in for a treat.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know what we got. We got some fucking Star Wars, dude. Mandalorian and Grogu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those that don't know us, we are both pretty big Star Wars fans. Have both been since childhood.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
We got some tats.
that's very true.
Mhm.
Can you describe your tattoo for the listener?
So
Where it's at and what it looks like?
I have, not too crazy, but the emblem of the Galactic Republic on my right calf.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just the emblem, the circle with the bars in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like the Imperial signal,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the Republic.
Yeah, I think one of the first. I think the first time I saw it, I mistook it for the
Most
Imperial
people
one.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you promptly corrected me on that. But that's a sick one.
Yeah. The reason mainly is because like I've always felt like my like favorite era of the whole Star Wars is the Clone Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and just that whole thing, just all the stories and just like it, and it really is kind of like the foundation of like the whole just dilemma of the universe that's going on within the prequels and the originals.
It's the Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's the war aspect of Star Wars.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, I totally understand that.
Now, Dylan, why don't you tell me about your tattoo?
So my tattoo was actually my very first tattoo.
Mm.
It's a portrait, I guess like old-fashioned tattoo style of Darth Vader, with some floral stuff and a banner underneath that says Father. I got it obviously for my father, and I just got it because like we're both Star Wars fans, and growing up, he would always quote the "I am your father" line to me all the time. So yeah, I just thought it'd be a cool, like, like just inside, we both are Star Wars fans and kind of thing. All right, so before we get into the Mandalorian, Armand, I want to ask, considering it's been 7 years since a Star Wars movie has had a theatrical release, and that being The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9, how did you feel about just Star Wars as a franchise? Not necessarily Rise of Skywalker as a movie, but just walking out of the theater 7 years ago, roughly, for Rise of Skywalker. How'd you feel about the Star Wars franchise as a fan?
So, I was excited.
Really?
Which is quite funny because I will say, when I saw Rise of Skywalker in theaters for the first time, I very much enjoyed it.
Interesting.
I know it's a trash movie.
Yes, absolutely.
And I rewatched it just recently, so I have a lot more new thoughts and realizations. But like all in all, especially coming off of The Last Jedi, like and there are a lot of things that I think the Rise of Skywalker did well.
Yeah.
But again, I very much enjoyed it, and I was excited to see what came next, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you know, that was still a long time, and all sorts of shit came out.
Yeah.
But fucking.
So I guess to give some broad context, with The Last Jedi, I really enjoyed that movie walking out of the theater, and like felt very excited about Star Wars as a franchise, and was very excited for the potential uh, of The Rise of Skywalker. However, I did recognize and see the very prominent backlash and controversy surrounding The Last Jedi. Some of it I can empathize with, some of them I just flat out disagree with and don't understand. Walking out of the theater for Rise of Skywalker, I vividly remember walking out. I'm almost at like the double doors to leave the actual auditorium, and the thought pops into my head of like, oh, this is what like haters of The Last Jedi felt like walking out of the theater, of like, no, 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 this is all wrong. Like, why did you guys make this movie? Like, because there are so many things in that movie that just while watching it the first time, I was like, this doesn't feel right, or like that line of dialogue is stupid, you know, or this feels like somehow like scotch taped together, you know. And it also, the marketing for that movie was like, this movie's going to tie together all 9 films, you know, like they tried marketing it as like their version of like Avengers Endgame, you know, and like the movie's just not that.
No, not at all.
Because even like their version of the portal scene, where like all the ships show up over like the fight of Exegol and stuff, it doesn't feel earned the same way as like the actual portal scene in Endgame, you know. And after hearing about like what the original episode 9, which was going to be called Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, hearing all that stuff. For me, I've kind of been at a low point with the franchise ever since Rise of Skywalker. It did spike back up with Mandalorian season 1. And then every now and then with some of their shows, it's like spike back up and then go back down, and, you know. And now I'm kind of at a point where I'm just kind of waiting for them to put out something that feels like Star Wars again and gets me excited about the future of the franchise. Let's get into how do you feel about the Mandalorian show?
I love it. It's definitely one of the best Star Wars shows that they've ever done. Season 1, season 2, fan fucking tastic.
Agreed.
Incredible storytelling, character development, all the hits, like all the beats in a good story, just they're all there. Especially season 2 for me. Like it was just blew me away. The ending of
when
of
Luke
Mando,
shows up.
Yeah, with Luke showing up in like his full power, just decimating those fucking droids and everything, and then just Mando, like throughout that whole like season, is starting to more like question like his own beliefs and like his purpose to finish his mission from season 1, to get Grogu back to his kind, a Jedi.
Yeah.
For
and
them,
when he like takes his helmet off and like
Yeah.
shows Grogu his face, like what we think up to that point might be the last time,
yeah,
made me tear up.
Yeah,
upon,
it
like,
was
watching it for the first time.
It was literally, it was all the emotions, it was all there. And then for them to destroy it
In the
and
Book of Boba.
in a completely different show, everything that season 2 led up to, just the whole weight of literally both seasons, just completely destroyed in a completely different show that didn't have to do anything with them.
Yep.
And then to come back to season 3,
And they're already
yeah,
together.
they're already together. So like, if you expect people, I get like most people watching this stuff are watching all of them,
Yeah.
but there's still a good amount of people that kind of just stick to the one of the shows. And then to go to season 3 to where they're just already back together, everything's happened dandy. Literally, you just fucking you destroyed the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
agree.
and just on top of that, whole season 3 just wasn't that great.
Yeah. I feel like they really dropped the ball on the whole like dark saber conflict because like the way they set it up in season 2 of like Din technically wins it from Moff Gideon. They were setting up what could have been a really cool rivalry between Din and Bo-Katan.
Yeah, Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan, yeah, something.
But and they just didn't. It what ends
Yeah.
up happening? It's like
It's just like Bo-Katan was just being sad and alone in her
Mhm.
castle, and
But
like
then like when she does get the dark saber, doesn't Din just like explain like,
yeah,
oh
she's
yeah, a couple episodes back, like she helped me
technically
out and technically, you know, she disarmed the person that was the rightful. Yeah, it's
so
so
stupid.
stupid and lazy and like I was expecting like they're gonna build up to going back to Mandalore, but it's also gonna somehow tie into like Bo and Din are both like
Hmm.
raising their own like clans to go at it with each other over the dark saber and like the fate of the Mandalorian as like a whole, species or clan or whatever you
Yeah,
want to call it.
that's what I wanted to see, man. Bo-Katan versus Mando, and of course, Mando didn't want that, but even also besides that, wanted to see Mando by himself
Mm-hmm.
without Grogu.
Yeah.
See how he grows as a character now that he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have the sidekick.
Yeah, because literally since episode 1 of the series, Grogu has been like,
Attached to him.
yeah, exactly. So that's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to see him questioning where he stands in the universe, just everything, man.
And especially after just what he goes through in season 2 of all the
Mhm.
different characters, like meeting Bo-Katan and like,
Yeah.
Mandalorians that have a slightly different, belief system than him. But even like the episode, I think it's called The Believer
Yes, it
with
is.
Bill Burr,
Uh-huh.
one of the greatest scenes when he
Yes.
shoots that officer. But and when he takes that sniper shot when they're
Yeah,
like
to
flying away and stuff.
just destroy the whole base.
Yeah, in that episode, he has that whole thing about like, doesn't matter like what helmet you're wearing, and
Yeah.
like,
Be a fucking Bill Burr's character, Miggs Mayfeld,
mhm,
like his whole spiel about like, because he was an ex-stormtrooper and like
mhm,
talking to Mando about like none of this shit matters. It's like all perspective. Like literally, like when they're seeing like the orphan natives to their planet just staring at them. That whole episode is
mhm,
just incredible.
yeah,
And because like that was the first time we also like we were in the perspective of the Empire.
yeah. When the Tie Fighters show up to kill off those last
Yeah.
pirates,
Which
you're
are
like,
probably just native people
yeah,
trying to stop them.
hmm,
And then they get to the base, everyone's cheering. They're like,
hmm,
"Hey, good job, we did it!"
hmm.
Like, and
And we as the audience, at least for me, like I had like a sigh of relief of like, okay, the Tie Fighters showed up, took out those guys,
yeah,
Mando and
those
Bill.
bad guys.
Yeah, Mando and Bill Burr are safe,
Mhm.
and but it is cool that whole episode is just like
Yeah,
on a
but
philosophical level.
yeah, and he's all saying one that like stayed with me was like how like he was like if you were born on Alderaan, you believe one thing. If you're born on Mandalore, you believe another. And guess what? They both don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh fuck, dude. Like,
Hmm.
it's just incredible.
Yeah.
But all that character development
Mhm.
just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, in season 3. Yeah.
Hmm.
My favorite would be like, I mean, season 2 is definitely awesome because like there's like the snow spider episode, which I think is like the second one, um, directed by Peyton Reed from the Ant-Man movies.
Mm.
So I thought that was kind of a cool little insect tie-in thing. But for me, season 1, especially the second episode, when like he has to deal with like the Jawas and stuff. Um, he has that line where he's like, "Weapons are part of my religion." Like I always thought that was a cool line. The whole like fight with the Mudhorn scene where like he's like just going through dispensing like his entire like arsenal of what he has left, and then he's just left with his like vibro knife thing. I always thought that was like the first episode of the series like does a good job of like introducing you to like the world that the character inhabits and like the occupation and stuff like that.
Drenched in lore,
Yeah.
like everything.
The second episode shows like the character, like properly I feel like introduces Din as a character and like especially in that Mudhorn fight scene where like he knows with just the knife like he stands no chance against this thing, but he's still willing to like fight. So I've always thought that was a cool episode. Armand, give me your top 3 Star Wars shows. Start bottom up.
Okay. I ended up just ranking all of them. But
Okay.
for my top 3, the third one is really hard for me. So Shadow of Maul, I'm putting 3.
Okay.
I'm putting Mandalorian is not a 2, Andor at number 1.
Okay. I figured you'd put Andor at number 1.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. It is a very well crafted show. I just think it's a little bit boring.
The first season's definitely a slow burn. Like there's
Very
no
slow.
denying that. It does have some slow like moments, but it's for me it's just building off of it's just building the tension, more than anything.
Yeah.
And but still just like the payoff of it though is incredible. And just the characters is everything's super well written, set designs awesome, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Just yeah. And that's would probably be I'm just gonna say it would probably be my only gripe with it is that, and that's also the only thing I've heard anybody say like what's the negative of it. Besides that, nothing else,
Yeah. I think for me as like a Star Wars fan, it's just Cassian in Rogue One, like just him existing in that like piece of Star Wars storytelling or whatever is like sufficient enough for me. So I was never really craving an Andor series. It's cool that it exists. It's just a character and an aspect of the Star Wars universe that I don't find as fascinating compared to other aspects of the Star Wars universe. Because I like more of the mystical Jedi, Sith kind of stuff.
So I definitely agree. Like when I first heard they were doing a show, I was like, oh, like okay. Like I didn't really have any particular interest in it. But it's more so just the story around the character is the best part about Andor. And just setting up all the things of like just the groundwork of the rebellion and all that.
For me, my top 3 shows, starting with 3, would be Ahsoka because
of the fantasy stuff, huh?
Yeah, because like the Night Sisters of Dathomir, like a whole different galaxy.
Awesome.
Them doing Thrawn in live action, the zombie stormtroopers,
The
Shin Hati.
Ooh, what a hottie. Super cringe.
Yeah,
But-
see why
and-
they call her that.
Yeah. And just like the whole thing with like Ahsoka being in the World Between Worlds.
Yeah,
I
Hayden
think,
Christensen
Hayden-
showing up.
Incredible.
Finally seeing clone trooper armor in live action
Yeah,
and not
Rex.
being CGI'd. Yeah,
It's
all super cool. Like
incredible.
I definitely have some gripes with
Yeah.
the show, like pacing wise and stuff, but I feel like they really put a lot of like, I don't want to necessarily say like fan service, but just
The thought and love.
yeah, exactly. Little TLC, little tender loving care.
Yeah. Dave
into that show.
or Ahsoka is Dave Filoni's creation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And number 2 would be Visions, the like
Nice.
anthology series.
Yeah.
Best episode is from season 2, in my opinion. Screecher's Reach. I don't know if you've seen all of Visions.
I actually haven't seen season 2 yet.
Oh, okay. Highly recommend this one. It's the second episode.
Mhm.
It tells the like lost Padawan story in a way that I haven't seen throughout Star Wars, and like the ending to me is like haunting. Like it like sticks in my mind all the time. So yeah, and then number 1 would be the Clone Wars animated series.
Nice.
The what is now on Disney Plus known as Star Wars 2D micro series.
Oh, are you talking about the I can't say his name right.
Jendi Trendinovsky,
Yeah,
something like.
Trendinovsky series.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
You know, I actually forgot to put that in my list. But
good thing I
yes.
remembered.
Yeah, no, that incredible series. That one I actually remember seeing on TV.
Same, dude. Yeah, I would like somehow I knew like maybe looking at a TV guide or something, or how like the TiVo guide thing was set where you can like see in advance what shows are coming up, because it would always show up in like a little tiny block.
It was in between shows.
Yeah, which is sick.
Which is sick, but also fucking annoying.
I thought it was cool because it gives you just a little tiny Star Wars adventure or whatever before the next cartoon you're gonna watch or whatever. Because I think it was on Nickelodeon. Or no, on Cartoon Network. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I say that because like I literally have a memory of like one time like waiting for it. Like I was at like my mom's house, like having the TV on for the show prior and waiting for that 10-minute snippet to come on. But we were like, or we needed to go to my grandparents' house for some reason. So I'm just like, wait. And then, but I think this was when I wasn't really realizing it was like truly in between the shows. So then we went, fucking get there, run to the TV, put it on, missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, because I think there were only like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like super short, like little mini episodes. But what's sick is like I also remember watching it as a kid, and like I think there was even one time where, because I was trying to keep up with it as they were releasing new episodes, and there's one time where like me and my siblings had to get dropped off at like a neighbor's house to be like babysat. But I was like, I need to watch this episode, so like I just commandeered their TV, and I think it was like the Kit Fisto one where there's the whole underwater fight.
Yeah.
The coolest Kit Fisto has ever looked in all of Star Wars. And that neighbor had a pool. So like after I went swimming, it was like recreating,
beating on your siblings.
force pushing them under the water and stuff. But yeah, that series is sick, and like for the longest time, the new like 3D animated Clone Wars that like most people are familiar with, I was like really against, because I thought it was like disrespectful to what I think is like objectively a much better series,
of the same
like Clone Wars era. Like I get that like there's more stuff in the 3D one, but that's because they like dragged it out for like 7 seasons, whereas like the 2D animated one, they like set out to like tell a story, a 2-part story that takes place in between these, episode 2 and episode 3. And I just have way more appreciation for stuff that like has a definitive beginning and end kind of thing. And it's not like this drawn out, like, how much money can we squeeze out of this thing?
Yeah, there's a goal in mind.
Yeah. But I also do think that like the Clone Wars 3D animated show did keep the franchise alive and like get a lot of fans while, you know, prior to getting the sequel movies.
There's
You
a
know,
lot of incredible stuff in that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I've bounced around the series and seen like the Darth Maul stuff, the Mandalore stuff,
Fives.
yeah, fives and that whole thing. So like, and I watched all of the last season, which was incredible.
Incredible.
Animation, how they connect the stories and stuff. Yeah, but let's get into the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Mandalorian and Grogu, baby. Right off the bat, it wasn't that bad. It was a fun movie. It's a fun action adventure kids movie. Didn't piss me off necessarily. Mando's badass. Fucking all his fight scenes incredible.
Mhm.
There was a lot of stop motion stuff in it. Super sick. Seeing Nal Hutta, super sick. I love Embo. Embo was awesome. What do you think? Good stuff.
Well, that's kind of the thing. So just overall, I thought that this movie had a lot of potential to revitalize just fan excitement about the franchise. And I think next year we're getting another movie, Star Wars Starfighter, starring Ryan Gosling, directed by Sean Levy. And nothing about this movie made me excited for that movie, or just Star Wars as a whole, or even The Mandalorian and Grogu, like as characters. Yeah, the whole movie to me just felt very underwhelming, and the more I think about different aspects of the movie, the more upset I get that like they thought like, yeah, let's put this in the movie. Like this is worth the fans' time and the 7 year gap, you know, between this theatrical release and Rise of Skywalker. So before I get into talking shit on this movie, I will list the things that I did like.
All right.
Like you mentioned before, the stop motion animation stuff, super sick. Because that's how like the AT-ATs and Empire were animated. So in the beginning of the movie, when Din and Grogu are on like the little miniature AT-AT walker thing, and you notice, or like I noticed it was stop motion. I was like, okay, that's a cool detail. The robot guards that guard the Hutt twins, realizing those are stop motion animation, I was also like, okay, that's sick because it like feeds into like the robotic, you know, feel of the character design and all that stuff. The other things I liked were Mando, his whole introduction in the film. Like I like how they kind of treated him like Batman.
Yeah.
You know,
Straight
where
up.
he's like in the shadows and like pops out and like.
And there's that one scene where he like knocks down, and then the only light in the scene is the laser blast of him finishing him off.
Yeah.
Sick.
100% agree. Like, I've always thought Din, his character design is sick. Like, the reflective armor, like how it looks in like dark, dimly lit settings and stuff, or just against, you know, colored lights and all that stuff. Like, super sick character design. They had a lot of really cool, like, fight choreography stuff. And yeah, so I'm always gonna kind of think that Din is cool or looks cool aesthetically and stuff like that. So it was cool seeing because the show is so cinematic looking. So it was cool to finally see like this world that has always felt world and characters that have always felt so cinematic finally see them on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, everything with Grogu, like I chuckled a couple times at, you know, the parts that are meant to be, you know, you're
Yeah,
supposed to chuckle at what Grogu's doing.
his ready up scene
Oh yeah,
is probably one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
yeah,
It's hilarious.
yeah,
Knocking on the helmet of
yeah,
the bombs.
yeah,
Awesome.
hilarious. Yeah, the way that they use the puppet, the cuteness of the character, all of it's there. One last thing that I liked was the recontextualization of the chessboard in the Millennium Falcon,
Yes.
because the fighting ring
Yeah.
has the whole same design, like checkerboard, you know,
And those are
design.
all the monsters from
Yeah. So what I took away from that is it's the same thing as like in real life. You know, there's like WWF, right? Like a
Mhm.
wrestling franchise, but they also have like video games.
Mhm.
So what I took away was that like the fighting ring that Rada and Din are like fighting in and stuff, and like all those characters are like some kind of like fighting ring or like well known thing throughout the galaxy. And all these are like the famous like wrestlers of that.
Mhm.
So what Han has in the Millennium Falcon is essentially like, you know, merchandise video game version of the fighting ring.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool
Yeah,
that
I
they
thought.
like added that little detail to like kind of just expand the lore and how
Yeah.
it ties into a different film and stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome, and I didn't even like realize it at first.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't until later I was like, I knew this was like familiar in something, but
Mhm.
like, yeah, I thought that was super awesome. Another thing I did want to add, seeing Zeb, his animation and everything, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you know, it's just these characters doing cool things,
Yeah,
and
I
that was
felt like
awesome.
the whole movie doesn't matter what character it is. All you're really getting is just seeing them in action.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's talking to another character or literally in an action sequence.
Yeah.
Um, it's not really a whole lot of like character growth,
No.
development, arcs, depth, none
Only
of that.
Grogu had character development, and that was it. Like,
Yeah,
and but even then, it's like kind of character development we've kind of already seen.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
and like I feel like the main point of the story between our two main characters is just one day Din is gonna grow old and die, and Grogu, because of you know his species and stuff, is gonna eventually outlive
mhm.
Din, and we already kind of knew that though. Like,
Yeah.
so that's what I liked about the movie. What I didn't like was, as mentioned, no character arcs or really anything interesting that goes on.
Yeah.
Out of all the characters within the Star Wars universe, or more specifically, like that time period of just like obscure Star Wars characters we've seen in the background, of all those characters to choose from to like expand upon and include in this movie, I do not understand why they went with Rod of the Hutt. Because like the bit where like his aunt and uncle are like, this is the last photo we have of him,
Yeah.
and it's the baby photo, which is clearly supposed to like be for fans of the Clone Wars movie.
I thought it was funny, and I feel like it can play into the fact that like they didn't like him.
Yeah, they're
They were
so
out to.
neglectful that they just have a baby photo of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, but I just thought that was like an obvious thing for like fans of like, this is the character we're talking about, because
You've
it's been
seen
a
him
while
before.
and he's pretty obscure. It's weird because like last night I watched the Clone Wars movie for the first time, because I did not watch that in theaters, and you know, because like I said, I was in protest of that.
Mhm.
But after watching it, Jabba's in the Clone Wars movie, but he doesn't, and he only speaks Huttese, and he has a translator droid with him the whole time, and they don't give him subtitles or anything. It's he says his lines in Huttese, and then the translator droid, you know, translates in English. Why do they have Rada speak in English? It felt really weird.
Well, galactic basic.
Sure, galactic basic, whatever. But just from the audience's perspective,
Yeah.
like it just felt weird. Like I understand they added like the bass to
But
his
it
voice
still
and
wasn't
stuff.
enough.
It was just this kind of weird, almost like uncanny kind of thing of like it's weird seeing a Hutt speak English and like
No,
have a normal talking voice and stuff.
100% agree. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of weird.
And the character design. I get that he's a fighter and stuff and he's, would be ripped, but it's just weird seeing like a buff Jabba the Hutt, essentially.
I thought that was cool actually.
Oh.
And there is in the lore there is the one Hutt that like he became a Jedi and he was ripped because like obviously he was a lot more agile, and if you're gonna be weighing that much and agile and stuff and being able to do all fighting, you're gonna have muscle.
Yeah.
His eyes still looked a little weird. The way he talked was still a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like a buff Hutt, I thought it was cool.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just Rada as a character never was a character that excited me. And when he was a part of like the trailer and stuff for the marketing of this, seeing it, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I hope he's not in the whole movie.
Mhm.
Another thing I didn't like was kind of going against something you like. I hated that they picked Embo to be not necessarily the main villain, because I guess you could argue that the Hutt twins are the main like overarching villain of this.
Just another bounty hunter.
Yeah, because he was introduced in the Clone Wars show or the Rebel show.
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. Okay, so I definitely didn't see whatever episode or episodes he's in.
Mm-hmm.
So when he showed up, I thought that he was gonna have speaking lines.
Mm-hmm.
And when he just didn't talk throughout the whole movie, I was like, why have this guy in there? Like when you can get some other character that's going to speak. And then you told me that like that's part of his character that he doesn't speak.
Yeah, he's always been a man of few words.
Yeah, and I get that that's like a Western, like spaghetti Western movie trope that they're bringing into Star Wars. Sure, that's a Dave Filoni idea. But it's just like if Star Wars has been gone from the movie screen from 7 years, you should be firing on all cylinders. And like,
yes.
Why bring in an antagonist character that's not going to speak? So, and I understand that throughout Star Wars, there's been like Boba Fett doesn't have a whole lot of lines, but he has lines.
Yeah.
In Empire Strikes Back, I get that Darth Maul in Phantom Menace doesn't have a whole lot of lines, but he at least has lines. Like Embo has no dialogue whatsoever. So as a antagonistic force throughout the story, I just felt nothing other than just like, can this guy get out of the way? Or like if they're not going to do anything interesting with his character, because like he's a bounty hunter, right? Yeah. Din's also a bounty hunter, but Embo is a bounty hunter hunting Din and Grogu, right? So like that's some interesting storytelling stuff that they could do where Din can learn something about or like question his own ways of being a bounty hunter, like being on the other end of that and stuff.
At that point in his career, I feel like he knows what he's doing. But
yeah, and he's working for like the quote unquote good guys and the resistance or the New Republic.
Yeah, I do have a couple things for that though, because like at this point in like the whole timeline of this Star Wars era, there's really no other like bounty hunter that a fan would know that is still alive at this point, because most of them are, at least the ones that we've been introduced to, like within the shows or movies, they're all dead from one way or another.
Is it
Cad Bane?
No, I know he's dead at this point.
Yeah, quote unquote.
But is it IG-11?
IG-11.
Not to be confused.
IG-88.
The Taika Waititi one?
Yeah,
I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking
yeah,
about the one that shows up in
I think that's
Empire.
IG-88. I could be mixing. I know one's IG-88, the other 11.
Yeah.
I think 88 is the one that is the bounty hunter.
I mean, but they're both bounty hunters. Is 88 the Taika Waititi one?
I think 11 is the Taika Waititi one.
IG-11?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then yeah, maybe it is IG-88. Maybe that's it. The one that, whatever one that shows up in
Empire.
Yeah. But yeah, then again, I guess if they already did the Taika Waititi thing in season 1 and all that stuff, so
Yeah.
but yeah, then yeah, there is Dengar. That's the one with like the bandages like around his head and stuff.
But
and
he did die.
even Bosk.
I'm pretty sure he did too, but I can't recall honestly.
Yeah. But I see your point. What about why can't I remember her name? She has like a
Aurora
name.
Singh?
Yeah, the one that shows up
Um,
like very briefly in Phantom Menace, watching the pod race.
The guy from the guy from Solo.
Yeah,
He's known to be the one that killed her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. So yeah, she's already dead at that point. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And Embo doesn't die.
He doesn't die.
And he saw Din without his helmet, right?
I don't think so.
He's not the one that takes it off?
No, it was the
Hutt's guards or something? One of the droids?
I'm pretty sure it was an Embo, but you saying that is making me question it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure it was not Embo, because at that point,
guess we gotta go watch it again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got his money and fucked off.
Dipped. Yeah. One last thing with like just the villains, the antagonist force within this movie. Also, like, I just, aside from Jabba being in Return of the Jedi, I've just never really cared about the Hutts and the lore, and like, I felt like the Hutt twins showing up in the Boba Fett show was just fine. Of like, this makes sense because it takes place on Tatooine. This is not shortly, but like somewhat shortly after Jabba has, died, and like there's now a power vacuum and all that stuff. Like, it made sense, but to then bring them back for this movie, I just felt like, okay, it'd be cool if you guys I would have preferred if they just made up a whole new villain for this movie to like just give us something new versus like retreading something we've already seen. Because all we really get that there's a dysfunctional relationship between Rada and his aunt and uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to see how the Hutt twins
sleep together.
Yes, you do get to see that, and you also get to see their demise.
Mm-hmm. Which might just be the end of the Hutt clan.
Which, yeah, I guess is maybe a cool way of just within lore of like closing off that.
Yeah. But I get your point. It shouldn't have been the first theatrical release of Star Wars back.
Yeah.
For something so minuscule.
Yes, exactly.
The thing about that is, I was like looking into it some more. So Jon Favreau, he was saying that he did plan on having Thrawn in it and like connecting it to it. That was their original. Well, even before the movie, the original intent was to just do season 4 and have everything start working together, and then build to the movie a little bit later. But then big old Mr. Mouse was like, "No, let's do this, blah blah blah," and then like,
we need a theatrical release.
Yeah, no. So, and obviously, Mandalorian and Grogu's not doing well. So, that whole fucking idea of the Mandoverse of Ahsoka, Thrawn, and everything is up in the air now.
Yep.
Which fucking sucks, because it's a great idea. Would have been awesome. They executed it poorly, and now it might not even happen at all.
Yep. And now this movie just kind of feels like, it feels like if you've never seen the show, you could watch this movie and be like, okay, I get a gist of what the show is like, of like just the character types, of like, okay, Grogu is like the cute little baby Jedi, and then Din is like the badass, crazy weapon arsenal,
Yeah, one thing that I thought was really cool is good take. I heard that about how like this movie is actually a good kind of starter point for some people.
yeah,
They could see this and then like it and then go back and watch the show.
yeah, for kids that were like 2 years old in 2019, when the last Star Wars movie came out. Now that they're 9, 10 years old, like Mandalorian and Grogu is a good entry point for them. If they're not familiar with like the Star Wars universe at all. I definitely think it's a fun adventure, but I do think it's a movie that is also kind of very forgettable.
Yeah, it lacks a lot of stakes. It's kind of emotionless
Yeah.
at points.
Very emotionless. Like I did not give a shit when like supposedly we're meant to believe that Din is gonna die in his
He might
first
die.
movie.
Yeah, we knew that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah,
Like,
it was cool seeing Grogu take care of him and stuff. Going back to complaints with this movie is I really hate how it's like over advertised that Pedro Pascal is like playing this character. When to me it's so obvious that like he was like only there for like maybe like 2 days of shooting for the like 2 scenes that he's in, which is his helmet getting taken off in the Hutt twins palace, and then when he falls down that trap door into the
just
water.
drowning.
Yeah, like
Yeah, there's
and
two
then,
other actors that did all the bulk of the work.
yeah, which that was another thing too, that I thought was weird is like in the beginning of the movie there's credits that play like over.
Oh.
You notice that?
Yeah, the names.
Yeah, like I think that's like the first theatrical Star Wars movie to do that, where it has like an opening credit sequence.
Yeah,
Because all the other ones, it's like the crawl or Rogue One just starts right away. Solo does like a different version of like it's not a crawl, it's just like some opening text and stuff. But this is the first one that has like, it's listing the actors' names and production crew and shit like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't
So,
think about that.
I thought that was really weird. And like the way that it's shot reminded me of like the Office intro, where it's like they're showing you around the New Republic base and stuff. And like it just felt like just weird that that's in a Star Wars movie. But yeah, like immediately after Pedro Pascal's credit, there's like the 2 stunt actors who like actually played this character physically, like throughout, I'm assuming, the bulk of the movie. And what I thought was funny about the whole sequence of Grogu taking care of Din is for how long do you think that whole chunk of the movie is? Maybe like 5 minutes?
Grogu taking care of Din?
Yeah.
No, I felt like way longer than that. I felt like
10 minutes maybe?
15.
Okay, so 10 to 15 minutes at most of this whole film. They just had to have an actor stick their feet out from a little Mutt Hud thing. You know what I mean? Like Pedro Pascal for sure was not there. Like, that's probably not even one of the stunt actors. That's just probably one of the like production assistants or
just
like
styrofoam.
Yeah, or yeah, even just like a dummy.
Yeah.
Like so. I get that like the Mandalor or Din as a Mandalorian, like they've kind of written it into where like he can't be taking his helmet off all the time. But I also feel like if they push his character development in a certain way, he can start to like break out of his like dogmatic view of like his specific Mandalorian clan. And like that's what I thought this movie was gonna do. And like he was gonna be taking his helmet off all the time, kind of thing.
Yeah, they were just the same.
What would you rate this film out of 5?
Out of 5?
Yeah.
I give it a 3.
A 3?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a very solid 2.
That's fair.
So 3 and a 2 combined. The
5.
overall deep cut score,
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Mandalorian and Grogu. So we have a special segment prepared for the end of this episode. But before we get into that, let's each give a deep cut on this film. Which
All right.
it's kind of hard to give a deep cut on this film because it is a
Because
franchise.
it's Star Wars.
Yeah, it's Star Wars, so it's like even before the movie came out, there was already like 23 Easter eggs, you know, and all that stuff.
So many deep things that just people create whole careers is just looking into this franchise.
Yeah. So, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. And this one is a deep cut,
Let's hear it.
but the NIT4, the N4, however you say it, but the little ship that the guy that Mando was chasing at the beginning in the AT-AT sequence, he goes into that little ship and tries to escape.
The escape ship thing.
So that like ship design was actually a toy that they came out in like back for the original trilogy for those movies that just never made it in the actual movies.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
was it like an escape pod thing for like the AT-AT toy? Yeah. Okay, that's really cool actually. That is a deep cut. That's sick. Okay. My deep cut is Dave Filoni has a cameo in this movie. In case you didn't notice, he's shot and he's in his cowboy hat.
Trapper Wolf.
Yes.
I think is his character's name.
Yeah. And obviously I'm being a little bit satirical here. It's very obvious his cameo.
Yeah.
Along with I believe Deborah Chow.
Yeah, Deborah Chow.
I think a lot of the OG directors from like season 1 and season 2.
I can't say his last name.
Manchu or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah, a bunch of the directors.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah, they show up as New Republic pilots again. My only like commentary on their gratuitous cameos is at least George Lucas was like subtle and creative when he put himself in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
And like putting his son in there, and you know,
John Williams,
yeah. Wasn't John Williams' first cameo in Rise of Skywalker?
Was that the first one?
I think it was, and that's why they did it.
Yeah. I thought he might have had other ones.
But even that is like fun and creative because it's like just this quick little shot where like upon first time viewing you could miss that that's John Williams.
Yeah, for sure.
But this like him wearing a cowboy hat, he wears a cowboy hat all the time. Like that's his like whole shtick. So for him to do that and be like, it's me again. It's like
Trapper Wolf.
Yeah, Trapper Wolf. I love wolves. You know, try to work them into Star Wars whenever I can.
That's why I wear this hat.
Yeah, Trapper Wolf. Like just repeats the whole thing again. So now to get to the segment that I think Armand and I both were the most excited when preparing for this episode. Now that we've seen all Star Wars movies that have had a theatrical release, we are going to go through our ranking.
Personal rankings? Yeah.
Each of us have our own personal ranking that we've had written down in our notes, but we are going to, I guess for lack of a better word, like debate over what should be the definitive deep cut movie review podcast Star Wars movie ranking that we both agree on, and we're gonna have to make some compromises and defend some choices and opinions and stuff. So there is a total of 13 theatrical releases. Let's get into this, Armand.
Bottom to top?
Yeah. All right, so starting from number 13.
You can go first.
I think it should be Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
You agree?
So,
What did you put for 13?
13, I put Clone Wars, but
Clone Wars? Okay, that's fair. That's fair because Clone Wars is my 12.
okay, Rise of Skywalker is my 12.
Oh, okay. So how do we compromise on this?
I'm cool with Rise being lower because
Okay.
the main reason I put Clone Wars at the bottom.
You know what? No. I'm gonna side with you because Clone Wars is like an animated thing. All these other movies are live action. Plus,
And there's main continuity.
yeah. And there's also like Clone Wars doesn't have Hayden Christensen or Ian McGregor as like voice impersonators. So it's not even the real thing. So I'm gonna side with you. I'm gonna put Clone Wars at 13. And now we've gone over our number 12.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I do want to say there's a lot of cool moments in it, and
In
like
Clone Wars?
no, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like Han coming, not necessarily Han coming back is cool, but like his whole when he's like when Kylo is or Ben is remembering him,
Yeah.
which in itself is stupid.
Yeah.
But like when he's like Dad, and then him saying like I know, like doing the I know, the whole I love you thing that he did with Leia. I thought that was fucking awesome, fucking tearjerker. But yes, in the outside perspective, the context of it, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's he shouldn't be there.
I just feel like that scene as a whole, because like one of the best scenes of Force Awakens is when Han confronts Kylo and they're on the bridge and stuff. That to me is one of the best scenes of that movie. So them doing that again in Rise of Skywalker felt like they're just trying to recreate that moment again. And just through Harrison Ford, a blank check, like how much you want to come shoot for a day, yeah, I do agree with you. There are a lot of cool aspects within Rise of Skywalker, but I just think the overall story is just really weak. There's just some really dumb
A lot of it doesn't make sense.
stuff of like the Death Star ruins and
Yeah, that was
it
stupid.
lining up with the knife and
A knife that is supposed to be an ancient Sith-like artifact.
yeah, and then like um the whole thing when like they're sinking and Finn is like, "Oh Ray, I never told you," and then we never get like a conclusion or resolution to
So
that.
stupid.
I feel like the kiss with Ray and Kylo is so forced. Like
Didn't need that.
I like that in The Last Jedi there is like some, I guess, like sexual tension or romantic tension between Ray and Kylo, but the way that that movie ends is like Ray closes the door on Kylo and like symbolically like closes the door on that whole potential of a relationship, you know. So for the kiss to happen, I thought was like not really earned.
No, not at all. Like they were literally like fighting, just like yeah, no, it was totally forced.
And I respect the effort to like include Carrie Fisher into it, like post death, but it's a really backwards way of like building a scene for a film where like you take a pre-existing performance and pre-existing dialogue and try to like recontextualize it with like other actors in the scene, and like all of her scenes just feel like you can see the stitching.
Yeah, a lot of it was really unnecessary.
Yeah.
I just rewatched it, so like there was literally a scene where they went to that deserty planet, right? And
oh, is it when what's his Snap?
Yeah.
Whatever, like
they go back to them.
Yeah,
and
it
like we
gives
can't
her,
get a hold of them.
yeah, it gives like an update. Yeah, it just feels like it's just a little beat of like
Complete. It's supposed to be like a comedic thing, I'm assuming, but like it was just completely unnecessary to do anything.
Falls very flat. I also hated that like they relegated Rose to the sideline because I actually like her character in The Last Jedi. I like that they introduced a new like character to be in like the main cast, instead of just sticking with like Kylo, Ray, Finn, Poe, you know.
I honestly laughed my ass off when in the theater
When
when
they
I
sidelined
realized
her.
that they straight up sidelined
Yeah,
her.
yeah. I was more just shocked that like holy shit, they like made like an apology movie.
Yeah, they
Like
straight up disregarded The Last Jedi,
yeah,
like 100%.
yeah. Even
Yeah.
like Luke's line when his fucking Force ghost catches a lightsaber and is like a Jedi's weapon deserves more respect or something like that. Like that's clearly an apology for like him throwing the lightsaber over his
Yeah.
shoulder. Like
And this just all a train wreck. Like if they, I get what they're doing, but like they, no matter what, The Last Jedi happened. So for you to just disregard it, just completely destroys the whole trilogy as a like a whole. Like if you guys would have just stuck with what The Last Jedi did, like it would have been just better as a whole.
yeah, I agree. And like I really like Ray being a nobody because I feel like Star Wars for the longest time has always revolved around the Skywalker bloodline and like you know kids little kids watching Star Wars or into Star Wars want to be like Luke or Anakin, you know. Um but Ray being a nobody kind of sent the message to me that like anyone can be a Jedi or that you can come from nothing but you choose like what role you want to play in this grand story kind of thing. I thought that was a really powerful and like just empowering message at the end of The Last Jedi kind of thing. Um, so for them to like also go back on that and be like, oh no, she's a Palpatine,
Yeah,
even though like I think it would have made more sense for her to be a Kenobi, and I feel like that's what they would have been building up to. And
Kenobi would have been really cool. I remember like being like really hyped for that theory, like when they were coming out. But, like in retrospect, like it also would have kind of like went back on just all of Kenobi's character to have just a secret child, but maybe even one he didn't know about, like with Satine and everything, which is definitely plausible. But it still kind of goes back to like he did break the kind of code that he adhered, because like Obi-Wan Kenobi is literally the greatest Jedi of all time.
yeah,
Like he went through so much shit and still would adhere to the the Jedi Order and chose the Jedi Order, but still did it in a way to where like he wasn't like narrow-minded like Mace Windu or even Yoda at times.
yeah,
And yeah, so he's after everything he went through, he's the greatest Jedi of all time in my book.
yeah, I agree. I think a lot of that has to do with Qui-Gon's teachings.
Exactly. Yes, 100% it does.
Yeah. Yeah, Qui-Gon's teachings and also Obi-Wan's own failure with Anakin. Getting back to the ranking, number 11. I'm going with Mandalorian and Grogu.
Okay.
What was yours?
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi? Are you fucking serious, dude?
Yeah.
Number 11? Above Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
What?
So it pissed me off. But the thing is
the first time you watched it?
The first time.
Okay.
Both times. Both times I was upset.
Okay.
The thing is, The Last Jedi isn't necessarily a bad movie. It's not. I don't think it's a good Star Wars movie. I feel like I'm all for trying things, right? Doing things new. I think the whole sequel thing should have been new stuff, right? The thing is, my biggest problem is like for him to pick up a sequel and the middle movie of a trilogy and try to implement his own like ideas and kind of like destroying like the ideas that were kind of preset with just kind of all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
is just not the way to do it. Like, you can, but in the middle, like a middle movie.
Yeah, the middle movie. I
Like,
get that. To be subverting expectations and stuff, and like
yeah. And you
have.
can still do that
Mhm.
without like really pissing everybody off, which he did. And I know kind of like that's kind of what he wanted to do though, right?
I actually don't think his intention was to piss people off. I think his
Mhm.
intention was to surprise people. I heard something where it's like, if you really think about how long Star Wars had been around at that point, we just got, The Force Awakens, which, revitalized people's interest in just the franchise. And then we got Rogue One,
Mhm.
which was a great movie,
Mhm.
but also tells a story that in a way we already know how it's going to end, kind of thing. So it's just cool seeing that little like sub chapter.
Yeah.
But for both keeping in mind of like Star Wars as a franchise, like all the tropes that exist, all the things that have happened in the original trilogy, the prequels and stuff, after they've already like reintroduced the franchise again, keeping that in mind, and also keeping in mind like just movies, like movie goers, like
Mhm.
exciting things that happen in movies, like it's kind of hard to like think of new stuff,
100%.
like new ways to surprise and excite people. So I thought the whole subverting expectations approach was actually really cool for not just that movie in particular, it being the middle chapter, but also for just Star Wars as a franchise, because it introduced elements that we are familiar with within the Star Wars franchise, but haven't seen play out in this way. So like the whole like side quest that I've seen a lot of people complain, like with Rose and
Mhm.
Finn and DJ getting caught.
They didn't do
Like,
anything. They
yeah,
made
like
things worse.
I get that, but like that happens in an actual war
Yeah.
all the time, where like there's a side quest that just goes wrong and like
Mhm.
people end up dying because of it, and like it can't be in every single movie they achieve their goals in the side quest. And
Mhm.
like the middle chapter in like a play or just a 3-act structure is meant to be the darkest chapter, where like the characters don't get what they want or
Mhm.
what they're striving for or whatever, to challenge them for the big third act. So with this movie, like Ray not getting the answers that she was expecting from, who she thought and who the audience thought Luke Skywalker was going to be, I think is really interesting and cool. And I love the depiction of Luke. I get that a lot of fans don't want to subscribe to that being their Luke Skywalker,
Mhm.
but I think that statement in and of itself is kind of ridiculous, because like people act as if this character belongs to them. Even Mark Hamill acts as if this character somehow belongs to him, but it never did. It was like something that existed in George Lucas's mind. And now that Ryan Johnson has been tasked by Lucasfilm and Disney to write this chapter and explain why J.J. Abrams, and Lawrence Kasdan decided to not have him in The Force Awakens and exile him to this island. Ryan Johnson had to come up with why the fuck is he on this island and not
Mhm.
helping his sister in the Resistance, and flying
That's
around
true.
with Han. And so I feel like that's a really difficult thing, because like even
Yeah.
fans were like, and that's the other thing too, is like after The Force Awakens, like I cannot tell you how many like fan theory videos and like speculation stuff of like who Rey is related to, who Snoke is. I even saw stuff that like people thought Snoke could be Mace Windu, and it's like,
That's kind of crazy.
yeah, like um or that like somehow Darth Jar Jar is gonna show up in The Last Jedi, and or that Luke is gonna be some crazy like space Jesus basically. but like I love that like Luke grew up as a farmer. So what we see of him in his daily life on the island, he's a farmer. You know,
Yeah.
like he fishes and he still drinks milk, you know, from a different animal, but like all of it seemed to line up. And him throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder, it makes sense because the last time he saw that thing was when his whole world was like shifted on its axis of finding out that Darth Vader is his dad and his hand just got cut off, you know? So I don't think that he would see that lightsaber with that context and with what we know what happens between him and Ben and just why he exiled himself. He wouldn't be psyched on it.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's a funny moment because it's like funny for like Rey's reaction or just like expectation and reaction, but also the audience. And I get that a lot of people take that as Ryan Johnson being like, haha, fuck you. But people weren't expecting that. And it isn't doing something unexpected for the sake of it being unexpected. Like, I feel like everything that people question about that movie has some kind of logic put behind it. That being said, the Canto Bite sequence I could do without, specifically the horse chase aspect. I get how it ties into the story of like Rose's whole thing of like, you know, wanting to like free and liberate the enslaved animals and stuff like that. And how that ties into just the overall theme of Canto Bite as like the war machine planet, you know, the people that profit off of the Star Wars.
Yeah.
But like we get Benicio del Toro's character out of that. And he's such a fascinating character to me because he doesn't have an allegiance towards the First Order or the Resistance. It's whatever works out for him personally. And he points out the whole thing of like, it's all a machine, that like the people that are funding this war are the people that are really benefiting from it. So it doesn't really matter what side you're on because neither one of you guys are benefiting from it. So yeah, there's just like, and then the whole Force connection between Rey and Kylo, and also the throne room scene of like, were you really expecting Kylo to cut Snoke in half with Luke's lightsaber upon first time viewing?
Not necessarily cut him in half, but
was it surprising for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so,
that scene is great scene.
So that being said, getting back to ranking, did anything in Mandalorian and Grogu surprise you?
Didn't piss me off.
So
and
that's
that's
your caveat,
kind of like,
is that Last Jedi pisses you off too much.
that's kind of the main thing, is what is making me put it.
Well, here's the thing, dude. Last Jedi is number 4 for me in my ranking list. So we're gonna have to do some crazy compromising here.
Yeah.
What do you got for number 10?
So, if anything, 11, Mandalorian Grogu, because literally, so for me, next is Solo, and then Mandalorian Grogu.
Okay.
So I'm cool
you're
with
willing to
Mandalorian
being at 11.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now number 10.
Number 10.
Okay. For me, I have Attack of the Clones written down, but right above that is Solo. So
Okay.
I'm willing to
10 Solo.
Okay. 10 is Solo.
10 is Solo. 9.
9.
Attack of the Clones. Because that was my next one also.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, that works for me because now Attack of the Clones is number 9 for me. Number 8, I have Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Yeah. It's just the Ewok stuff. Like,
everybody hates them, but I love them. They're cute little bears.
I just don't I'm just not into it as like a full grown adult. Like
You not a furry?
No.
Teetering on the edge, but go ahead.
No. Yeah, and there's definitely aspects that I like about the movie, but I do think that of the original trilogy, it's the weakest of the 3 movies.
Yeah, that's definitely the main consensus. Sue me, but I think I might put it in my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Of the original trilogy movies?
Yes.
That's
It's.
crazy.
I know everyone's probably thinking I'm crazy. It has been a while since I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them multiple times, but
Mm-hmm.
from my like memory at least,
Mm-hmm.
I very much enjoyed that one. I especially love the end with Vader, Palpatine, and
Yeah.
Luke,
Mm-hmm.
and him like, I'm a Jedi, like my father before me,
Mm-hmm.
choosing not to like fall into it, and then Palpatine just fucking Luke up,
Mm-hmm.
and then Vader just being like, no, like,
Well, now in the Blu-ray version, he says no. But
oh, okay.
yeah, they added that where he's like, no, 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 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid. But it's because it's like you get the message without it
Mm-hmm.
of just he's looking at Luke, he looks at the Emperor, and he goes up to the Emperor and tosses him. Like, you don't need the no in there. But yeah, there's
I still
definitely.
feel I would have felt the same without the no or no.
Yeah. But my thing, I guess, like, one, they do the Death Star thing again.
Yeah.
So that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Two, I know Harrison Ford really wanted Han to die in Empire because he just didn't want to do these movies anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So his performance in Return of the Jedi is like the most like, I don't give a shit about this. Out of all of his appearances, including Force Awakens and I guess even Rise of Skywalker, his performance in Return of the Jedi feels the most phoned in that he's done.
I'll have to rewatch them.
Yeah.
It has been a little while.
But okay, so
I had Force Awakens.
that works because The Force Awakens was my number 7. So I'll bump Force Awakens down to 8. I'm going to compromise on that because The Force Awakens is a good movie.
It is.
I think it's the strongest
of the
three sequel movies.
For sure. Wish they would have done something new, but that's my biggest gripe with it. It's just a carbon copy of like.
Yeah,
New
it
Hope.
is a original trilogy greatest hits because you get the desert planet location, you get the foresty planet location, you get the snow planet location, you get a even bigger Death Star. Yeah, you get the blue versus red lightsaber fight, but kind of like what we were talking about with
Space
Mandalorian.
Nazis.
Oh yeah, Space Nazis. Yeah,
full effect. Honestly,
the underground rebel base, with wires just haphazardly nailed to the walls. Yeah, tripping hazards all over the place. For a franchise that had been missing for over 10 years from the theater, like from movie screens, to reintroduce that to a whole new generation, I feel like they had to kind of retread on what made Star Wars as a franchise work. Reintroduce the Force, reintroduce the dark side, reintroduce like just the iconography of everything,
Yeah.
down to like its like simplest form that they can be like, oh, this isn't Tatooine, this is Jakku, and this isn't Hoth, this is Star Killer Base. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I still hate the idea.
And
like
then,
it's literally Star Wars 7.
Yeah, and then meshing stuff like the foresty planet of Endor, but now it's the planet that Maz's castle, but Maz's castle is also introducing the cantina aspect, of like these watering holes with all these different types of aliens and robots and shit like that. So I get that being a complaint because I remember walking out of the theater from Force Awakens being like, well, that was kind of just like a original trilogy greatest hits, but it's cool. I like Kylo Ren as a character. Like, I think he's interesting, and that scene between him and Han got me, and I'm excited to see what happens with Finn after getting his back
Mhm.
sliced up, and what happens with Rey and Luke.
Yeah, and Finn just being a defective stormtrooper.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
awesome.
that whole thing too. Yeah, yeah. So I think where we've placed it in the ranking, Force Awakens at number 8, I think is fair.
Yeah.
Number 7 in my notes, it would now be Return of the Jedi. What's your number 7?
So after Force Awakens, I didn't put numbers by it. I should have, but after Force Awakens, I have Rogue One, which
Okay.
I kind of feel like maybe I should have bumped it up more.
I definitely think it is a better film, or more interesting film story expansion of Star Wars than The Force Awakens.
At this point, I'm down to put Return of the Jedi.
At number 7?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. So then number 6,
Rogue One.
I have Phantom Menace.
That is honestly very fair.
But one thing I will say, Phantom Menace took way more risks and also had the
Mhm.
task of reintroducing Star Wars to a new generation, and I felt like George Lucas like went weird with it. You know what I mean? And like I remember like as a kid seeing visuals from Phantom Menace and being like, that is so like strange. Well, it's almost like high art looking, like seeing like
Mhm.
the Naboo cruiser, like the reflective ship,
Yeah.
like just the new like designs that we get to see
Yeah.
throughout like just Phantom Menace like alone, like seeing Coruscant, seeing the Jedi Temple,
Yeah. Yes. Like,
all the different Jedi. Like I remember thinking Keanu Mundi,
Mhm.
that's his
His
name,
head.
got the long head.
Yeah.
As a kid, that was like so strange, you know. And like the other Jedi with like the super long neck and like the tiny bulbous head, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Don't know what his name is. But yeah, I just felt like they pushed and like made Star Wars like, and like I love how a lot of the character designs, like the battle droids, the um storage cruiser thing that
Yes.
they're in, that
She was
whole
awesome.
the whole Gungan city is sick. Naboo
Yeah.
is just a cool like location. So I'm willing to put uh Phantom Menace above Rogue One.
It's funny. I was willing to do the opposite, but
Because my thing is Rogue One is like they treated that movie like a period piece. They literally like used the original like A New Hope as like their main.
the set design. And
Yeah, so it's a great movie. Not knocking the movie or the story or anything, but they're not making anything new necessarily. Like they're making little tweaks to things of like, oh, we
Mhm.
got an Imperial officer who wears all white and has a cape.
Mhm.
You know, you haven't seen that before. But
Death Troopers. That was their
yeah, Death
introduction
Troopers are
too.
cool, but they're just all black versions of Stormtroopers
Yeah.
that maybe have better aim. Um, so where do we want to land with this? We want to put
Rogue One.
Rogue One for number 6.
Yeah.
And then Phantom Menace for 5.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It was like the last.
Now we're in top 4.
We haven't done the Last Jedi yet. Oh, dude, wait, hold on.
Yes. I'm down to just place it at 4.
I can't put Phantom Menace below Last Jedi. I almost forgot.
Okay, how about this? We'll put. Are you willing to put Last Jedi above Rogue One?
Yeah, I can compromise with that.
Okay, okay. Because Rogue One got a whole recut and reshoots,
Yeah.
and you know, there's shit in the trailer shots in the trailer that's not even in the movie. Like,
It was supposed to be like more like war
yes,
oriented.
yeah,
Which would have been awesome.
yes. So, but with Last Jedi, Ryan Johnson was the writer, director, and also one of the aside from George Lucas, one of the only people to write and direct a Star Wars movie, to be tasked with both of those. Like, and he saw his vision through. Like, my only thing that I think was a dumb decision that he made was like, you know how like each Star Wars movie, the opening shot after the crawl, it pans down, and it's like usually on a planet or something. His was gonna make it look like it was a planet, but it was actually the like bubble thing of like Finn's recovery thing, and that would have been cool because it would have been a little fake out of like you see just like the rim of it and think it's like the surface of a planet, but then continue panning and it's Finn's face.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cool instead of this weird like zoom into a planet and like pass by a bunch of ships and stuff. It just felt kind of like not Star Wars esque or like as graceful. It felt more like an action beat versus like I feel like those opening shots are meant to be more like artistic and graceful.
Well, Revenge of the Sith kind of does that.
Isn't Revenge of the Sith's? No, Revenge of the Sith. It starts off calm because it's just the battle cruiser, but then when you like pan past the battle cruiser, it's like the whole crazy war is going on. Yeah, so that's cool. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because there's layers to it, whereas this was literally just zooming in on a planet. But aside from that, for the most part, from what I understand, Ryan Johnson stuck to his like original vision throughout the whole thing, and like didn't really have to compromise or reshoot his film. And it's actually, I think, a shame that Rogue One reshot stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Then again, as fans, we've also never seen what that original footage was like, so maybe it was for the best. But I'm willing to do that.
So it's number 5 for Last Jedi, right?
Yes, and Phantom is 4. So after a slight reshuffle, we now have Rogue One at number 6, Last Jedi at number 5, Phantom Menace at number 4.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the top 3.
Big 3.
Big 3. Number 3 for me, Revenge of the Sith.
Dang.
What was your number 3?
New Hope.
I'm willing to compromise on that because New Hope is obviously the source of how we got all of this. And I do think it is a pretty flawless movie, especially considering for its time, 1977.
I want to go to Toshi Station and get some new power converters.
Yeah. Luke had plans. He wanted to do other shit. Like, he doesn't want to do what his uncle wants him to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with
not
that
at
line.
all. Not at all. No, I just like saying it.
Yeah. And Luke being like the whiny kid, like it works, you know. But because A New Hope was number 2 for me, so I'm willing to drop that down. All right, so we got.
And I'm willing to put Revenge of the Sith at 2.
Was Revenge of the Sith your number 1?
It was.
Yeah. It is great.
I know there's hella clunky dialogue. I know there's problems with it, but it just means so much to me.
I agree. It definitely is the Star Wars movie that, from like being a kid that is like aware that I'm a Star Wars fan, I like have the most memories of like talking to friends about, watching it with friends, watching it just by myself, like collecting the toys and like
truly connected, all of it.
Yeah, like I got like, I think my grandma got me the Darth Vader helmet that came out with like the voice changer thing. So yeah, that movie for sure. And after watching it when they did the theatrical re-release, what was that, last year?
Yeah.
After rewatching it with you and Annalise, there were so many moments that like I'd seen that movie a bajillion times that like I never chuckled at like while watching it, but watching it with you guys, it was just fun because it's like just the dialogue is kind of clunky and silly at times, but there's also some really great lines in there. And
so love has blinded you.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm down to put it at number 2. So I guess that leaves the number 1 spot.
Good old Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visual effects in the movie are insane. Again, considering the time period
Mm-hmm.
and considering what they had to try topping from A New Hope. And
Boba Fett's introduction,
yeah,
Lando,
hmm
bunch of great characters.
the design of Bespin is sick.
A little darker.
Yeah, introduction of Yoda
Introduction of Yoda too.
is hilarious
Mhm.
when he's like going through. Yeah, grabs the flashlight.
Yeah.
He's like throwing his food and stuff. After like biting it. Yeah, and then also just the philosophical stuff in it. The like, I mean, even now as a full-grown adult, I always think about like, do or do not. There is no try.
Mhm.
You know, like, or just the bit where like Luke is trying to lift the X-wing from the swamp, and he like tries and he like lifts a little bit, but he just gives up and he's like, I can't. You know, it's too big or whatever. And then Yoda does it, and Luke says like, I can't believe it. And then Yoda is like, that's why you failed,
Mhm.
because he didn't believe in himself.
Mhm.
And that is such a like deep thing to
Mhm.
put in a what George Lucas has always said are essentially kid movies.
Yeah.
You know, like young adult to kids, you know.
It's the first time we saw any major Force action like that
Mhm.
too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the introduction of like Force ghosts, because in A New Hope you only hear Obi-Wan's voice. Yeah, just more expansion on just the Force. Luke has a Force vision of like him fighting Vader, and
It's himself.
it's himself, and oh man, it's and also the love story, like of all the love stories within the Star Wars movies, you know, Anakin, Padme, Han and Kira in Solo.
Mhm.
I feel like Empire does the love story thing the best between Han
True.
and Leia. Of like coming off of A New Hope, you don't really think of Han and Leia as like a couple, so it's cool to like put them, get Luke out of the picture, and like just have Leia's options be either Han, Chewbacca, or the one of the droid or C-3PO. But then also throwing in Lando right
Yeah.
when you kind of get that sense of like now it's become a thing of like Han and Leia, but then you throw Lando in
His
and he's
whole
all
silver tongue.
suave, yeah, silver tongued and handsome,
Handsome
might
man.
I add. Yeah, I feel like they handle the whole love story and the way that they like cap off that love story thing of like Leia admitting that she loves Han, and then his response is, I
I
know.
know.
Which I don't. Do you know the backstory behind that?
Yeah. That was Han, or that was Harrison Ford.
Yeah, they did a bunch of takes of "I Love You Too," and it just didn't feel right. And I think it wasn't Harrison just saying like "I know" to like, yeah, I know that's the line kind of thing, or like
I'm actually not sure.
Carrie's just said the line so many times that as a joke, he said like "I know," as because she's like done the take so many times or whatever. But yeah, that's just such a Han Solo thing, and it's so funny too in retrospect of like he's the one making the moves on Leia the whole movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when she finally admits that she has feelings for him, it's like I know. It's just so cool, and I feel like Empire is like the best one. It ends on a cliffhanger, and I feel like all the other movies aside from The Last Jedi, the ending you don't know where things are going to go, because like the end of New Hope has such a like, aside from like Vader spinning off into space and the Emperor obviously still existing somewhere out there, it kind of ties things off. Like A New Hope could have acted as just a one-off movie, you know.
They won.
Like Return of the Jedi, like also like is tying off everything. There's now balance in the Force, all that stuff, and then all the prequels. We already know where all this is going, you know. And then same thing with like Rogue One. The Force Awakens did leave with somewhat of a cliffhanger, but I felt like Last Jedi was like a real like what's gonna happen next. Like Snoke is gone, Kylo is now like the big bad guy.
Yeah.
The Resistance is now, you know, whittled down to enough people to fit on the Millennium Falcon, and then they didn't really do anything with any of that stuff. So yeah, so that is our
That's it.
Star Wars ranking.
That's a good. That's
Yeah,
a good list.
that's a good list. I can stand behind this.
Yeah, me too.
That's all we got
That's-
for this episode.
Yeah, that was. Thank you for being here for this. This was fun. We were very much excited to do this one. We love Star Wars, and I'm probably gonna do some more Star Wars shit later too. So
yeah, possibly next year with Star Wars Starfighter.
yeah, hopefully we can get Ryan Gosling in, you know, have a few words with us, but you know, time will tell.
Yeah. Join us for the next episode where we discuss Supergirl.
Woo, Supergirl!
Another entry in the DC cinematic universe.
That's right.
Thank you again for joining us. See you again next time.
You've been great. We've been Deep Cuts. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.